All right, everybody, thank you for coming back and joining my third and final PGA DFS Top 5 video of the week. Of course, if this is your first one that you're watching, well, depending on which way you watch it, the order that you do, I typically do value, sleepers, then fades. But if you want to watch the fades first and then catch the other two, by all means, go for it. Of course, like and subscribe for the easiest way to watch these channels, especially these short-form videos. They will play one back to the other here this week as we try out this format for you. So let's go ahead and jump right into my fades. Of course, last week, I'm not going to lie, I put Billy Horschel on there, and that was a really tough call there. He came in second place. The other calls, though, actually didn't end up that bad. I ended up fading Dustin Johnson, ended up fading Xander Schauffele. And neither of those golfers ended up really doing much. So, by and large, the fade video played pretty good last week, except for Billy Horschel. We are never going to fade Billy Horschel on Bermuda grass when he's under 7,500. However, when he is over 8,500 and expected to be 17% owned, well, I guess you can go ahead and just fire him right back up on the fade train as I go into my top 5 fades here this week. Billy Horschel. He's going to be number 5 on the board. 17% owned. Looks like probably going to come in somewhere around, I would say 10%, given what I've looked at. So about a 7% reduction. So he could have gone in number 3 spot, but since I was talking about it, I want to throw him in there. So Billy Horschel, 17% projected owned. Not going to be playing him much this week. My number 4 fade on the board, Jason Day. Now listen, $9,200. Has been playing better recently. 18th last week at the concession. Looked really good off of the tee. And I know he's got the 2 withdraws here back to back. But for me, I'm just not ready to pay $9,200 for him. I really do think that Jordan Spieth's game is in a better spot than Jason Day's. So it's simple for me. If I only got to spend $100 more and I'm getting lower ownership on Spieth, it's an easy fade of Jason Day. Maybe in certain situations I'll pair them together. Again, he's projected around 11% owned. I'll probably have somewhere in the 5 to 7% range, so taking about 4% less than the field. Makes him about my 4th biggest fade. Mark Leishman, he's about my 3rd biggest fade, 3rd or 4th, whichever one you want to put with Billy Horschel. Those guys are interchangeable, but in any case, back to Mark Leishman here. 8,200 this week, 12% owned. Probably going to have somewhere in the 7 to 10% range. He's got good course history. Came in 2nd and 23rd, especially if it plays similar to last year, firm and fast. Might end up with a little bit more of him, but the recent form just hasn't been good. You look at his strokes gain rank for the year, he's ranked above 130th in every category except for the approach. That's going to weigh on him, especially here a little bit, so I'm going to have a little bit under the field this week on Mark Leishman. Now we get into my 2 biggest fades of the week. First one being Paul Casey. Granted, Paul Casey has certainly had a much better year than I think I've projected him to or thought he would, winning out on the European Tour and a couple of good starts here on the PGA Tour. But I don't know that this is a great golf course for him, and his history here would suggest that. So 16% owned at 9,100. Again, I think there are players in that range that I would rather play more. So at 16%, I'm probably going to have no more than 5% of Paul Casey, making him one of my biggest fades of the week. Again, we know that he struggles putting, but this year, he's ranked 114th, so that is much better than what he's been in the years past. So keep a lookout for that. That might get him through to the weekend, but again, still for 9,100, 16% owned, I will be around 5%. Okay, now the biggest one. This guy has been a part of my lineups this year, but at 8,100 and 26% owned, Jason Kokrak is back on my fade train. Listen, I just have a hard time giving 30% allocation to somebody like Kokrak in this range when there are other golfers that I think are playing either just as good or are just as good. You know, there are a couple more in an example. I know Francesco Molinari's in that range and a couple of other guys as well. And just for me, having 12, 13, 14% of Jason Kokrak this week is enough. I feel like it's enough to get what I'm looking for out of it. So I'll be under by about 15% on the field. He is my biggest fade on the board this week. I know he's got good course history, 18th and 10th in the last 2 years, plus 2 good recent form starts, 9th and 32nd. But when I see that he is 9th again in strokes gained putting this year, that's too much for me. I don't think Jason Kokrak is that good of a putter. He has not shown statistically and historically that he is. So for me, it's a relatively easy fade at 26% owned again. for Jason Kokrak, my number one fade for the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week. So let's go again at 5-1. It's really Jason Day, then Mark Leishman, then Billy Horschel, then Paul Casey, Jason Kokrak. It would go from least fading to most fading. Again, Horschel, Day, Leishman, Horschel, Casey, and Kokrak. So good luck this week. Hopefully I hit on all these. Hopefully all these guys missed the cut. And guess what? I'm going to be following some of them as they do come down the stretch on Friday. I will be there. I have purchased a couple of tickets, and my wife and I are going to the event. So a little fun for us. And stay tuned because we are going to be doing something fun through the Awesemo Instagram handle on Friday, following these guys as they come in for the cut. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, everybody, good luck this week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and we will see you on the other side. Cheers.